ants. Everyone knows what ants are, but we don't understand fully what this relationship is between ants and the white fly. This problem came to my attention uh, over Tanalo, and it began with me just managing the garden and noticing white spots on plants. And I thought it was mold because over time the plants would be destroyed and I'd have to throw them away. And I had asked people about it. Rumor was that it was called mealypox, and that it was a disease, and that I would just rinse it with water and get rid of it. So that solved the problem. And about 2 weeks ago, it came to my attention that this thing came back, these white spots. I was wondering, what is this? And then so I did some research. I found out that it wasn't this thing called mealypox. No one even knows what that is. And so I went to the library and spoke with the librarian, did some research, went to the Department of Agriculture, spoke to some of the senior members there, and they told me, I'm going to show you better I could tell you. Here's a case example of the white fly attacking a mint plant over a period of 2 weeks. They usually are very lush and bountiful. They've really hit most of this area, but they're supposed to look really lush, like a patch of this, many patches of that. Instead, the central core of the stems are depleted because the ants are destroying it. And the white spots are right there. As you can see, the ants are feeding. They're trying to eat the Spanish fly. And in the midst of doing it, they're destroying the whole plant. You see, it's a strong system here that these ants are working together to migrate those white spots, which are actually food for them, out into off of the plant. As you can see, there's swarms of these guys working overtime to get what they can get while they can get it, and they take it to their places so that they can feed on it. In the process, they destroy whole fields of crops. That's its larva, right? So white flies belong to the Elariodatidae family and are primarily tropical or subtropical insects. If you look closely now, when you go to any garden, you may see them. Several species survive year-round in southern areas that rarely freeze, but in cooler areas, survival over winter is limited to plants grown indoors or in protected sites. Adults are small insects, typically covered with powdery whitish wax. Immature stages of white flies are scale-like, and they feed on sap from plants that are rarely moving after the first stage. White flies pass through a unique final development stage that does not feed and are sometimes termed pupa, from which the adults emerge. That's what white flies are. Next slide. So here's my hypothesis. Because I had spoke to some of the members of the library today, I was advised that it's not proven that the ants attack the larva. And so this is going to be more of an ongoing experiment that I'm going to be continuing to look into as I manage the garden here. So what I decided to believe was true was that these ants, when they work on these plants, because I've discovered large groups of ants that aren't in the plants collecting the white larva, or what I believe is larva. Here, it's disputed. We are unsure whether or not at this time, authorities are not sure whether or not that this is larva or whether or not this is just mold or another disease. So